Amaduk YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Rams fan YT. In today's video, we're on episode 6 of a history of your club, where we are going to Cambridgeshire with Cambridge United. This club of Cambridge United was founded in 1912 as Abbey United, named after the Abbey district of Cambridge. A club called Cambridge United, though, existed in Cambridge from 1909, but it doesn't have any links to the club that exists today. The club played in local amateur leagues for many of its early years, moving from ground to ground around Cambridge, before settling at its modern-day stadium at the Abbey Stadium. In 1949, the club turned professional and changed its name to Cambridge United in 1951. They played in the Eastern Counties League until finishing as runners-up in 1957-58, which saw them promoted to the Southern League. 3 years later, Cambridge United reached the Premier Division of the Southern League. After election to the Football League in 1970 to replace the Bradford Park Avenue, the club was promoted from the 4th Division after 3 seasons, but went straight back down. Following the appointment of Ron Atkinson as manager, Cambridge won successive promotions, which took them into the 2nd Division in 1978, a mere 8 years after joining the Football League. Atkinson had gone to West Bromwich Albion, a 1st Division club back then, in January 1978, and was succeeded by John Docherty, who oversaw the 2nd promotion. Cambridge peaked at 8th place in the 2nd Division in 1980, however, a terrible season in 1983-88, setting a league record for most successive games without a win of 31, which of course was surpassed by Derby County in 2008, but that is still a record, by the way, in a football league. It's not one in the Premier League. Was followed by a further relegation in 1984-85, equaling the then league record for most losses in the season at 33. These successive relegations, which also had a negative effect on the club's attendances as well as its finances, placed Cambridge back in the 4th Division, the lowest professional league in English football at the time. They had to apply for re-election their first season back in the 4th Division, and promotion would not be achieved for another 4 years. The early 1990s was the U's most successful period. Soon after the appointment of new manager John Beck, the club won the first ever appearance as a professional club at the Wembley Stadium, the 4th Division playoff final in May 1990, which secured promotion to the 3rd Division, which was the club's first promotion for 12 years. Dion Dublin scored the only goal in the game against Chesterfield. Under Beck, United gained promotion from the 4th Division and had already reached the FA Cup quarter-finals in 1990 and reached them again a year later, and winning the 3rd Division in 1991. United reached the playoffs in 1992 after finishing 5th in the 2nd Division, but failed in their bid to become founder members of the Premier League. This was the club's highest final league placing to date, and the following season the club sacked John Beck and were relegated from the new 1st Division. Further relegation followed 2 seasons later, with United returning to Division 2, but were relegated again in 2002, despite a successful run in the Football League trophy, which saw them reach the final, which they lost 4-1 to Blackpool at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. In 2005, after 35 years in the Football League, Cambridge United were relegated into the Football Conference. This brought with it financial difficulties, and the club filed for administration on the 29th of April. On the 22nd of July 2005, the club came out of administration, with a deal being struck with HM Revenue and Customs at the 11th hour after the intervention of then Sports Minister Richard Cabourn. Cambridge had sold their Abbey Stadium home early in the season for £1.9 million to keep the club afloat. On the eve of the 2006-07 season, it was announced that former Norwich City striker Lee Power would be the club's new chairman, taking over from Brian Atmore's caretaking reign. Johnny Hon was also to rejoin the board as vice chairman after John Howard's resignation on conflict of interest grounds, owing to his ownership of Bid a While 445 Limited, United's landlords. Jimmy Quinn was appointed manager soon after Power took charge, and after a difficult settling-in period, which included a humiliating 5-0 loss to local rivals Histon, he guided Cambridge United away from another possible relegation by achieving 5 wins from their last 7 games of the season. After signing several respected and experienced players at the non-league level in the following close season, Quinn led Cambridge to their then longest ever unbeaten start to a season in 2007-8, which stretched to 12 games. Off the field, United reported several major sponsorship deals, which seemed to point towards increased financial security. Halfway through the season, the chairman Lee Power resigned. He was replaced by Wayne Purser. United finished the season in second place, qualifying for the playoffs. They beat Burton Albion in the semi-final 4-3 on aggregate, but lost 1-0 to Exeter City in the final, playing at Wembley Stadium. Following the playoff defeat, many players left the club, culminating in the departure of manager Jimmy Quinn. Quinn was succeeded by former Southport manager Gary Brabin, who appointed Paul Cardin as his later assistant manager. United finished the 2008-9 season again second in the league, and also again reached the playoff final, overturning a 3-1 deficit to beat Stevenage Borough 4-3 on aggregate in the semi-final. However, they were beaten again at Wembley Stadium 2-0 by Torquay United. Brabin was named as the conference manager of the season, but was sacked of a closed season after reportedly falling out with the chairman. He was replaced by Martin Ling, who resigned just 8 days into the job before the start of the 2009-10 season, and was followed days later by chairman George Rolls. The new board reappointed Ling as manager the following week. Cambridge finished Ling's first season in 10th place. Not enough for a playoff place, but the following season, on the 6th of January 2011, with Cambridge in a similar position to where they finished the previous season, the club's owners put the club up for sale, citing the need for new funds to take the club forward. Despite interest being expressed from a number of parties, no new owner had yet been found. Later the same month, the club's landlords, Grosvenor Group, revealed the plans for a new community stadium, including potential locations both within the city and outside it. At the start of 2011, Martin Ling was removed from his position as manager and replaced on a temporary basis by CRC manager Jez George. I don't know if that's short from Cambridge Regional College, by the way. He managed to steer the club towards safety, finishing 17th, which led to George's role being made permanent. After having rebuilt the squad with players from the club's youth system and with astute signings in Harrison Dunk and Tom Shaw, George managed to lead Cambridge to a 9th place finish, a huge improvement from their previous season. As well as the league, Jez George also took Cambridge to the quarter-final of the FA Trophy, which was the furthest they had reached at the time, but lost 2-1 at home to Minnows Wealdstone. 11 games into the following season, Jez George became director of football, and Richard Money was announced as the new head coach of the club. The club spent much of the season in mid-table, finishing in 14th position with 59 points. The squad was greatly revamped, and United started the 2013-14 season with a record-breaking 16 games unbeaten. Cambridge finished the season in second place, qualifying for the playoffs. After beating FC Halifax Town 2-1 on aggregate in the semi-final, they won 2-1 against Gateshead in the final, held at Wembley Stadium, gaining promotion back to the Football League after a 9-year absence. The club also reached their first FA Trophy final, held at Wembley Stadium, where they beat Gosport Borough 4-0. In their first season back in the Football League, Cambridge United progressed to the 4th round of the FA Cup, where they drew at home with a Premier League team, Manchester United. The match at the Abbey Stadium ended in a goalless draw, forcing a replay at Old Trafford, which Manchester United won 3-0. In the league, Cambridge finished 19th with 51 points, 10 points above the relegation zone. The following season started poorly, and Richard Money was sacked in November 2015, to be replaced by Sean Derry the same month. A 6-match unbeaten run saw Derry win the League Two Manager of the Month award in December 2015, and the U's finished the league in 9th place with 68 points. They finished 2016-17 season in 11th place, in a season that took in extended runs of both good and poor form. Derry was dismissed in February 2018 and was replaced on a permanent basis by his assistant Joe Dunn on the final day of the 2017-18 season. Cambridge started 2018-19 poorly, and manager Dunn was dismissed after 20 games with the club in 21st place. Colin Calderwood was appointed as his replacement in December 2018, with Cambridge's second half under Calderwood was more successful. However, they could only finish as a 21st place side, only 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Following a successful start to the 2019-20 season, Calderwood was offered a new contract. However, after 3 heavy defeats in 1 month, Calderwood was sacked following a 4-0 defeat to Salford City. With the U's in 18th place, Calderwood's assistant manager Mark Boner was replaced in temporary charge until the end of the season. Under Boner, Cambridge won 4 from their final 7 matches before disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic forced the cancellation of the season. Final league positions were decided on points per game basis, with Cambridge finishing in 16th place. This good form resulted in Boner being handed the permanent role of head coach. During the 2021 season, Boner guided Cambridge promotion from League Two as runners-up after 7 seasons in that division. Promotion was clinched on the final day with an emphatic 3-0 victory over Grimsby Town. Following this success, Boner was handed a new 3-year contract. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. That'd be hugely appreciated. Got lots of things coming up. I've got on Friday how good was your manager as a player, and then next week in the history of your club, got a slightly bigger club. I'm sure Cambridge fans aren't offended by me saying that. Charlton Athletic, although they're currently doing worse this season. So goodbye for now though.